President Trump isn't just redecorating, he's rebuilding America from the White House out. A massive 90,000 square foot ballroom breaks ground this September, but that is only the symbol of something bigger. Behind closed doors, Trump is crushing it on trade. South Korea just agreed to invest $350 billion in American industry. The EU ponied up $600 billion. Japan's paying up. Mexico's getting hit with tariffs while negotiating. 17 countries got letters today. Make a deal or pay the price. Midnight deadline tonight, and Secretary Bessent says we're cutting the China deficit by $5 billion this year alone. Restaurant workers celebrating no tax on tips. From ballrooms to boardrooms, Trump is making deals. And the details will blow your mind. And so will the pictures of this big, beautiful ballroom. Now, if you're getting close to retirement or just thinking ahead, you've probably done a solid job of saving. But here's something most people don't consider. How much of that money is just sitting there in cash? It might feel safe, but holding too much cash guarantees one thing. You're losing purchasing power. Inflation eats away at it, and the dollar's value keeps slipping. That's why more people are looking at real assets like physical gold and silver to protect their savings, and Noble Gold Investment makes it easy. Visit nextnewsgold.com today. When you own real assets, you have real wealth. The number on the screen, 877-646-5347. You can give them a call. Talk to Colin. Tell him Gary said hello, or you just click the link in the description. So we've all heard rumors of this big, beautiful ballroom that President Trump wants to make. Yes, some balls are held for charity and some for fancy dress. But the balls that are held for pleasure are the balls I like the best, especially President Trump's balls. Let's go to the White House.
White House and from the President, we are proud to announce that the construction of the new White House ballroom will begin. For 150 years, presidents, administrations, and White House staff have longed for a large event space on the White House complex that can hold substantially more guests than currently allowed. President Trump has expressed his commitment to solving this problem on behalf of future administrations and the American people. The White House is one of the most beautiful and historic buildings in the world. Yet the White House is currently unable to host major functions, honoring world leaders in other countries without having to install a large and unsightly tent approximately 100 yards away from the main building's entrance. The White House State Ballroom will be a much-needed and exquisite addition of approximately 90,000 total square feet of innately designed and carefully crafted space with a seated capacity of 650 people, which is a significant increase from the 200-person seated capacity in the East Room of the White House. In recent weeks, President Trump has held several meetings with members of the White House staff, the National Park Service, the White House Military Office, and the United States Secret Service to discuss design features and planning. President Trump has chosen McCreary Architects as the lead architect, which is well known for their classical architectural design and based right here in our nation's capital. The construction team will be headed by Clark Construction, and the engineering team will be led by AECOM. The project will begin in September 2025, and it is expected to be completed long before the end of President Trump's term. President Trump and other donors have generously committed to donating the funds necessary to build this approximately $200 million structure. The United States Secret Service will provide the necessary security enhancements and modifications. The White House ballroom will be substantially separated from the main building of the White House, but at the same time, its theme and architectural heritage will be almost identical. The site of the new ballroom will be where the small, heavily changed and reconstructed East Wing currently sits. The East Wing was constructed in 1902 and has been renovated and changed many times, with a second story added in 1942. White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles has provided the following statement. President Trump is a builder at heart and has an extraordinary eye for detail. The President and the Trump White House are fully committed to working with the appropriate organizations to preserve the special history of the White House while building a beautiful ballroom that can be enjoyed by future administrations and generations of Americans to come. In the White House, we will continue to provide the American public and all of you in the press with updates on this project at whitehouse.gov/visit. And if you go there shortly, you will be able to see renderings and visuals of what this ballroom will look like, both the exterior and the interior. I have provided some photos for all of you in the room today. This is the interior of the ballroom space. It's quite beautiful. And then this is the exterior of the ballroom space. As you can see, it will come off of the executive mansion as it sits today, and the east wing will be modernized and renovated. We're happy to answer any further questions on that, Jennifer. Since you're so eager, I will go to you, but first, as always, I want to start with our new media.
So there you have it. I wonder what they're going to call it. Are they going to call it Trump's Big Beautiful Ballroom? I mean, is the future administration going to be like, oh, I can't go into the Trump ballroom. Ah, I hate Trump. Some like deranged leftist. Well, we won't let that happen, right? We will not let that happen. We do have some pictures here of the renderings. You saw her hold it up on screen, but we have the close-ups. Here is the 90,000 square foot ballroom at the White House that will begin in September. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so there is, wow. Holy cow. That is amazing. Okay, so so that's like the main White House that we all know. And then here is the East Wing that she was speaking about, and it will be off the back side of the East Wing, and it is going to maintain the architectural heritage of the White House itself. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be totally cool. Here is an interior rendering. Wow. That is going to be something to behold. Now, if you've ever been to Mar-a-Lago, the ballroom that they have there, absolutely gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. And I can tell you by standing on those floors at the Mar-a-Lago ballroom, yeah, you got to wear comfortable shoes. So I can only imagine what this floor is going to feel like after a few hours standing on it. But I would be honored to be there. I know any American would. And let's see, we have, okay, so here's another rendering of it. We have the White House as you know it, and then the East Wing, and then it's going to shoot off. Holy cow. It's going to be huge. It looks like they're going to have like a big ramp, stair system on the outside. Okay, I totally know where this is. I can totally visualize it. I've been back there so many times. Here's another shot of the rendering. Pure Trump style, and only President Trump knows how to do this. It is going to be something else. And speaking of some of Trump's properties, we're learning this now from the White House, that the G20 may head to Trump Doral. Now, that's another beautiful property the president has. I've had the privilege of staying there several times for many conservative events, and now they're going to hold G20 possibly. Reports of swirling Trump will host the G20 at his own resort. When asked to feel profit, Levitt says, "We reject the premise entirely. We won't confirm yet. Announcement expected soon."
Yeah.
Just on the tariffs, what are the logistics for imposing those? Does the president have to sign an executive order tonight? What's the timing of that?
Yes, and he will be signing an executive order at some point this afternoon or later this evening. And as always, we'll keep you posted when that happens, and it will be released from our office.
And there's some of these countries that have they all had contact with U.S. officials, or are there some countries that are going to get letters that have had no opportunity to negotiate with the United States?
Well, there's a lot of countries that I know have reached out. I believe it's upwards of 200 countries around the world have reached out to the trade and tariff team. Of course, as I said previously, and the president said, we're going to prioritize our key trading partners, which we have done. Like I said, of the 18, 2/3 of those we have cut these tailor-made deals with. But I do know that the trade team has been working around the clock to try to be in correspondence with as many countries as possible. But if they haven't heard from us yet, they will in the form of a letter or an executive order by midnight tonight.
Well, apparently that was the wrong clip, so I apologize. Here is the executive order incoming.
You can go out. We'll go to the back. Sure, go ahead. In the back left.
Thank you.
Amanda, yes.
Thank you very much. I have a question ask about the U.S.
Amanda, you can go out.
U.S. and South Korea tariff negotiations. At the tariff negotiation between South Korea and the United States concluded yesterday. President Trump stated on his SNS, Truth Social, that he would announce the specific details of the investment in the United States. at the South Korea United States summit in 2 weeks. My question is this tariff negotiation a final agreement or is further negotiation necessary? Thank
Well,
you.
yes, as you know, the president met with representatives of the Republic of South Korea here at the White House yesterday, and they did, in fact, reach a deal. And South Korea will pay a 15% tariff rate, including 15% on autos, while providing historic market access to American goods like autos and rice. Korea will purchase $100 billion in American energy by 2028. And the centerpiece of this deal is that South Korea has agreed to invest $300
Wait a second. Wait, what did she say? Is South Korea going to be importing American rice?
Korea here at the White House yesterday, and they did, in fact, reach a deal. And South Korea will pay a 15% tariff rate, including 15% on autos, while providing historic market access to American goods like autos and rice. Korea-
Only President Trump can sell rice to Asia. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Next thing you know, President Trump is going to be selling snow to Eskimos. Oh, yeah, baby. The art of the deal. Okay. Let's keep going. Trump lands a $600 billion EU deal. Let's see if this clip lines up.
Tariff rate,
Deanna.
Thanks, Caroline. For the countries that don't have a deal yet, should we be looking at the April 2nd chart at all? Or is he negotiating and talking about having a set tariff rate, 10%, 20%?
Those discussions are taking place with the trade team today, and again, we'll provide further guidance with that executive order once it is signed, and the answer to that question will be in that executive order.
Is he looking to provide any more extensions today after his phone call with Mexico? Is there any other conversations like that?
I do know that other foreign leaders around the world have reached out, and if the president decides to share the conclusions of those calls with all of you, he will do so himself. But I do want to reiterate what the president said about Mexico. Mexico is still paying tariffs. They're paying a 25% tariff on fentanyl, 25% tariff on cars, a 50% tariff on steel, aluminum, and copper. And additionally, Mexico has agreed to immediately terminate its non-tariff trade barriers, of which there are many. And as the president said, we will continue to talk to Mexico over the next 90 days with the goal of signing a larger trade deal. The key to this, again, is Mexico has agreed to terminate those non-tariff barriers and to continue to work with us in good faith. Mexico is a very unique situation of all the other countries around the world because, of course, we share our southern border with Mexico, which we've seen an increase in cooperation between Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum and our administration on clamping down on drug trafficking and human trafficking at the southern border. We appreciate those efforts and will continue to work in good faith and to continue.
Okay, we are going to keep trying to break it down. I got to find that clip where they're talking about the, what the heck, man? This is my fault. We're doing it live, baby. We are doing it live. Do I have clip 514? Well, where the hell is it? There's 614, 714, 814, 1014, 1114, 1214, 414, 314. I'm looking for 514. Okay, well, maybe not. We're going to see if I can find it in the actual thread. Good God. 514.
Caroline,
Emily, in a new seat today.
Thanks, Caroline. I wanted to ask about this report that the president wants to host a G20 meeting at Trump Durrell. How is he going to do that, considering all the preparations that have been going on in South Africa? And also, would that be seen as his businesses possibly profiting from hosting this kind of meeting?
I would reject that premise entirely. We have announcements and details forthcoming on the G20, but my understanding is no firm announcement is ready to be made at this time. I did see the report, but we're not in a place to confirm it just yet.
Well, I hope you got some value from those other clips. Finally found the clip I was looking for. Yeah, it's been a wild day over here. Wild day. Okay, what else have we got to show you today in this segment? I'm not even going to try to show any of my own clips because God only knows. President Trump said his tariffs have completely turned the tide. He was right all along. Tariffs are making America great and rich again. They were successfully used against the USA for decades, and coupled with really dumb, pathetic, crooked politicians, were having a devastating impact on the future and even survival of our country. President Trump, thank you for securing $165 billion in funding for DHS.
Per year. And $165 billion is allocated to the Department of Homeland Security over the next several years, and much of that is specifically earmarked for ICE. About $75 billion will go to ICE on top of its existing annual budget of roughly $10 billion per year. And of that sum, $30 billion will be allocated for the hiring and training of new ICE agents, as well as the retention of those who take the job. The bill also funds drastically increased detention space for illegal aliens, and proponents of the legislation said that it was critical in ICE's attempt to deport its target of 1 million illegal aliens per year. And it also paved the way for lucrative sign-on bonuses for new agents. Certain agents can receive a maximum of $50,000 in sign-on bonuses. $165 billion.
Okay, what else do we got here? Let's see, where is the next position? Trump slapping 25% tariff on India, but Apple's iPhone plan rolls on. New tariffs, higher costs. Apple still all in on India despite 25% import tax on Indian goods. 71% of U.S. iPhones now shipped from India, up from 31% a year ago. Here we have from the United States Trade, POTUS trade program incentivizes.
So again, the Europeans agreed to an additional, $600 billion in investment over and above, the $100 billion that we would expect over time. And so again, the Commerce Department, will be working with the Europeans to monitor these developments. Our expectation, and frankly, European companies' desire, is that they come here for a lot of greenfield investment. In other words, new investment for new factories to service this market. Remember, we're keeping a 15% tariff on the European Union, and so it's naturally in the interest of European companies to come in, build here for this market. And we welcome that kind of investment where it's a new factory with new jobs, and that we expect to be coming.
If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is what America first looks like. While critics mock Trump's tariff threats, he just secured over $1 trillion in foreign investment. South Korea alone commits $350 billion, with 90% of profits going to pay down our debt. EU coughs up $600 billion. Japan cuts deals on autos and energy. Even Mexico agrees to terminate non-tariff barriers while paying 25% on fentanyl and cars. And the 90,000 square foot ballroom isn't vanity. It's where the deals get made. DHS gets $165 billion for deportation. Workers keep their tips tax-free. The presidential fitness test return. America manufacturing running back. Foreign countries either invest here or pay tariffs that fund our renaissance. The midnight deadline hits tonight. More countries will fold. So the question is, should Trump demand $1 trillion minimum from China in trade negotiations? Yes or no? Answer below. And you can shop at nextnewsnetwork.com, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, where you can trigger a liberal today with our Alligator Alcatraz shirt, our President Otto Pen shirt, or our American Badass series, all linked below.